Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 out of 2 games between Funagor and Maximillion in round 3 of the second European tournament. Today we are going to be seeing Carpiquet, and on the Allied side Funagor has chosen the 6th Airborne. On the Axis side, Maximillion has the 12th SS-Panzer. So this is a very interesting matchup. It's one that's quite classic, all the way back in the Alpha Beta. This 6th Airborne versus 12th SS was something that was pretty common. And generally, the only thing that the 6th Airborne has to deal with the 12th SS late game is challenges. So if Funagor has changed his division to cater for challengers, he may not be in as bad of a position as it seems, because that was the main way that you could break down the 12th SS. The 12th SS, though, in Phase A does have the Boiter Cromwell and the Boiter Firefly, and those two units combined should control the airfield for the majority of the game. The only way that Funagor can stop that is possibly with the Airborne pack, but it will be quite reliant on Maximillion's sort of micro and also artillery use as to whether or not that Pack 40 will be effective, because there isn't really much Funagor can do to micro the Pack 40. He can maybe keep it on return fire and hope it's not spotted and then get an ambushing shot in there if Maximillion doesn't invest in recon. But the Pack 40, if it does get spotted and say the fire position trick is used with the Boiter Cromwell, there isn't really much Funagor can do, and he will have to sort of relinquish this airfield area and maybe try and flank it with Tetrarch Little Johns and things like that if he wants to make the ground back. But that's a very sort of precarious position to be in, since the Tetrarchs are not the most reliable. In this town, however, the 6th Airborne will do very well. They have the Airborne Paras, they've got Airborne Bren Group, Oxenbucks, so lots of decent infantry that can do damage to the 12th SS and its Panzer Grenadiers. The HE difference between the airborne units and those Panzer Grens is quite significant, so Funagor, if he can completely take control of this town, that would be absolutely perfect for him and give him that sort of room to work with when it comes to losing the ground on the airfield. Let's see what units are going down. So for Funagor, we see Pathfinders, followed up by some command. It's going to be the Airborne Paras in there, accompanied by another Airborne Paras, and a mortar and a machine gun. This could be Oxenbucks as well, I think. Further down, we see a couple more infantry, actually 4 more infantry with the command. A few of those will likely be heading up this main road into the town, and then we'll probably see maybe a couple move to these hangars, as if they're kept on return fire, can be very effective at holding those positions because they won't open up until 100 meter range, at which point Maximillion's infantry will take an absolute beating. We do see an MG for the bottom side. This would be a Vickers, I assume, and then we have the Airborne Pack 40 and the command to go with it. It's very important that you do bring command with this Pack 40 because it is unvetted otherwise. On the side of Maximillion, he does have Spear Troop, 2 units of Spear Troop, 1 for the airfield, 1 for the hangars on the bottom side. Those are also accompanied by the command here, or by the Panzergrens and commands on the airfield assisting the Boiter Cromwell. Panzer Grenadiers are looking for the run into the hangars on the bottom side of the town. Pack 38 has unloaded on the road, will be trying to snipe an infantry squad or 2 before they unload. Can that happen? It is 2-star veteran C, not quite. Panzer II almost got some shot off as well. But it did actually look like a unit died on the top side before it unloaded. But now we see Airborne Paras, 3-star Airborne Paras engaging Panzer Grenadiers at close range, and this is the engagement that Funagor is going to be looking for sure. Airborne Bren Group were brought onto the middle of the airfield by Funagor to stop a salient there, but the Boiter Cromwell easily going to try and take advantage of that. 3-inch mortar coming in to support against these Panzergrenz. The Panzergrenz, honestly, are not going to be in a very good position as these units continue to press forwards. 3-inch mortar, really nice use of that by Funagor to smoke off this road and remove the fire support from the VulcanHDGaming 2. This Panzer Grenadier does have the command radius of the VulcanHDGaming 2 to save it, but they're going to probably have to fall back if they want to remain alive. Ulster now being brought in by Funagor. Not entirely sure what that is planning to spot. Like, I'm not sure why you'd bring that in, because in general, what are you trying to find? Maybe the Pak 38, but you don't really utilize many tanks early on unless you're bringing in Tetrarchs. But for now, it's just going to be the airborne paras trying to move up against the Panzergrenz. The Panzergrenz with those machine guns will get the job done. The Oxen Bucks really need to assist those, and the airborne leader needs to get up there as well. Possibly the Ulster was going to be used to spot the infantry in this building, but in general I don't think that the Ulster, even if it flies directly overhead, is going to reveal the infantry inside a building. So the Oxen Bucks here, they are right on top of the Panzergrenz. The 3-inch mortar is forcing back the Panzer II. If that continues to fall back, then the command radius will fall away from the Panzergrenz and they will end up surrendered. But the half-track is stopping that from occurring for now. These Panzergrenz have revealed themselves as they tried to move out of the hangar. An odd choice for Maximillion, because it did mean that they ended up getting cut off. However, on the bottom side, Spaethrope have moved forwards ahead of the Boyter Cromwell. It looks like the Boyter Cromwell did take a shot from the pack, but now has chance to clean that up due to it already falling back and it continuing to be under fire as the Spaethrope move forwards. So this is a very important part and time in the game where this Cromwell needs to find the kill onto the airborne pack, and Funagor needs to find as much ground as he can in this town, and so far so good. He's had some favourable infantry engagements. One of his airborne paras has got pretty damn low, but just in general does have a nice hold in the town. You can see, however, that Maximillion does have the +1. The Verbal Wind has been brought in, and that is going to be able to force back this Ulster. Typhoon, though, coming in with 2 15 HE power bombs to bomb the Cromwell. Panzergrenführer used the smoke to try and mess with the targeting of the Typhoon, but it hits the mark. Going to force the Boyter Cromwell back for now and possibly allow the airborne pack to recover. Vickers HMG going to be used to try and cover the airborne pack, but at range the airborne Vickers generally aren't that fantastic, and you can see that being the case there as it struggles to pin down the Spaethrope. Now Oxen Bucks have moved up here. They find an internal fragments onto the Panzer IIc, which is very nice indeed, and also managed to clean up the Pak 38, so a strong push from the Oxen Bucks does pay off quite nicely. So new infantry has come in to assist on this bottom side. These airborne Bren group, they aren't fantastic, but they do have high veterancy, which can mean that these Bren guns become pretty decent. But at the moment, I think Funagor is so reliant on this Pak 40, it's just all about keeping that alive. And if he does, then he should be able to hold on till Phase B, where he'll have access to more AT or even the first of his challengers. I think you can possibly get a challenger in Phase B, or at least a Cromwell, which will be able to force back Maximillion's Boyter Cromwell if he doesn't reinforce it with, say, the Boyter Sherman. So 3-inch mortar going to be trying to assist against this half-track, but I believe the half-track was just moved out of the way from that engagement. Tetrarch is on its way to this top side. Those Tetrarchs can be very useful for cleaning up half-tracks and the Panzer IIs and so on, so I can see why Funagor is bringing that one in, especially if the Panzer II is offline due to the internal fragments. This Vickers machine gun Going to have to fall back. The Panzer Grenadiers there, making short work of it with their own machine guns. Oh, this isn't good. Pack 40 finds a shot onto the Wirbelwind. The Cromwell is not in line of sight to stop this from happening. Pack is retargeting towards the Panzer Grenadiers, now retargeting onto the Cromwell. It's going to have one shot. It bounces. It actually bounced. I can't believe it. 13 AP bounced off the front armour, the 7 front armour of the Boy de Cromwell. Boy de Cromwell comes in with the one shot onto the last 2 remaining members of that crew. That is so damn unfortunate for Funagor. But a Tetrarch Little John is on the way, and if that sort of fast moves into range of the Boy de Cromwell, it has potential to find a kill, but it's going to require 800 meter range, and that is pretty far off. The only way I can see that happening is if a Typhoon bomber comes in and stops the Cromwell from engaging the Tetrarch at range, because you can see just how quickly the Cromwell can pin a Tetrarch due to its low armour. There's also a potential for a kill there. Airborne Paras, they're going to continue to push up towards the town here. Tetrarch's getting very aggressive, assisted by these Airborne Paras, but this is an engagement you don't really want to take with Airborne Paras. He really needs to turn off this Bren gun and the Airfield and just get them nice and close to the 100 meters, because now this half track and the 259 are going to chew these Paras to pieces. Mortar fire comes down as well. That poor Airborne Para squad gets absolutely decimated. The one guy just running off there is going to get mowed down. Come on, Tetrarch now needs to get the job done against the 259. Finds the weapon jam. That's perfect. Job well done. But those vehicles are relatively maneuverable. Going to be able to get out of line of sight. Typhoon bomber has come in. Unfortunately, only got one bomb off before the Wirbelwind forced it back. So these Tetrarch Little Johns still got a little bit of work to do. But now that there is 2, the Boy de Cromwell won't be able to pin down both in time, which may allow one of them to get close enough to find a kill. And this is the most important thing to get rid of for Funagor at this point. This Boy de Cromwell is just going to cause so many issues throughout this game if it does not go down. The Tetrarch does find range onto the Wirbelwind, and also the Boy de Cromwell takes its shot. Oh, nasty kill though. Boy de Cromwell blows up the Tetrarch Little John, and that is not good at all. Oh, it's just absolutely savage. Not only did his 13 AP bounce on the 7 front armour, but now the Cromwell does actually find the HE kill onto the Tetrarch just as he had a 2v1 going. Wow. Infantry on this bottom side do end up getting surrendered. This is heartbreaking for Funagor, as he has taken a rather unorthodox division into the game, and there has been potential for him to start to break down the 12th SS, but just hasn't managed to quite yet. Ox and Bucks are going to be moving in aggressively. Ox and Bucks holding further down as well. These units though, they are being cut off. Maximillion's done a good job of utilising the Cromwell to allow this push to come through on the top side of the airfield, which has therefore cut off the reinforcing road into the town, and that's why a lot of this infantry is now being harassed. Let's keep an eye on this top side. Pack 38 has been brought in by Maximillion, so that's something that Funagor is going to have to be careful of. I think he does know it's there, possibly, and it seems as though he was the reason that smoke has arrived. Both troop, they do go down though. Ox and Bucks clean those up before they get pinned by the mortar. Now we see on the bottom side, Typhoon AT, or Typhoon Bomber, sorry, does get the bombs onto the Wirbelwind this time around, which allows the Tetrarch Little John to find the kill, unless the bombs actually found the kills themselves. But without that there, the Tetrarch Little John can continue to push forwards, but the Boy de Cromwell, of course, just falling back, has all the time in the world. It's going to be up to the Cromwell 5 to get aggressive now and kill the Cromwell. But as long as this Cromwell 5 is, or Cromwell Boy Cromwell is falling back. I think Funagor has a good chance to make a lot of ground. And at the moment, well, the Tetrarch Little John here, look at it go. It's just going to charge up. Panzergrenführer may have incidentally helped the Tetrarch there by that little bit of smoke. But the Boys of Cromwell surely going to pin the Tetrarch Little John before the Tetrarch finds the kill, unless this last shot can hit the mark. Yeah, it's going to have one more chance, possibly. I can't believe it. I guess that makes up for all of the bad luck that Funagor's had. I kind of saw it coming, but almost fully stressed Tetrarch Little John manages to kill the Boys of Cromwell with the last shot. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now the last of that infantry has died on the very top side there, to the right of the town. Ox and Bucks losing to the engagement with the Panzer Grenadiers is not ideal. Cromwell 5 though, going to be taking over the dominance on this airfield, shall kill the half-track, will be able to help pin these infantry squads if they continue to engage, and that is a really good position for Funagor to be in. Just needs to solidify this town and is going to do so with a couple new infantry squads. Can't really afford to lose the airborne leader, but I think they're long gone at this point with all those MGs on target. Void to Firefly is on its way for Maximillion. So Cromwell 5, that's going to engage these Panzergrenführer, try and take those out. Only one unit of Panzergrens here holding the line. That is incredible. If this Panzergren goes down, then a lot of this territory just swings right back in favour of Funagor. Maximillion has counted up 550 points though, so it's not exactly in a bad position, even having lost that boy to Cromwell. I think both players have actually really done well with their artillery in this game. Like, Maximillion's been using the 257 and Funagor's been using the 3-inch mortar, and both of them have utilised those vehicles, or those mortars, very, very well. Ox and Bucks are pushing up here, going to get the Piat onto the half-track, nicely done. Now Ox and Bucks engaging the Panzergrens at close range, 8 HE versus 5 with 3-star veterancy. Should be relatively easy for Funagor to win that, and with these Panzergren, the last Panzergren dying, it's going to go back to 50-50. And that's not what I expected, moving halfway through Phase B. Typhoon AT looks for the shots onto the Panzer IV there. Has come in to support that top side. But Funagor going to have to be careful. Oh, lovely micro by the Typhoon AT. Does allow the Cromwell 5 to actually get aggressive. So what happened there was the Typhoon AT had its rockets turned off, I think, and then Funagor turned it back on, so it only used half of its rockets on the Panzer IV to pin it down, and then flew it to the mid and used the other half, which now allows the Cromwell 5 to get aggressive and try and find that engagement. Oh, lovely bombing strike though. Typhoon AT kills the boy to Firefly. That is nasty. The ME-109 G6R6 is probably going to be able to kill the Typhoon. Yeah, the Tempest's not going to be there quick enough. But that Typhoon pays itself off by killing that boy to Firefly very nicely indeed. ME-109 G6R6 does go down. These Tempests are very quick. Wind was just not far enough up to get the job done. And what a fantastic play by Funagor. I am mighty impressed by that. The Typhoon AT hitting the Panzer IV, hitting the Firefly, bombing strike. Quite lucky to get the kill onto the boy to Firefly, but nicely done. Cromwell 5 probably would have pushed it aggressively anyway. So now a +1 for the 6th Airborne, moving into the late Phase B, and that isn't something that I expected to be saying, if I'm quite honest. You do see that, I think that was a Tetrarch ended up going down there. Airborne Bren group And the Airborne Para is now pushing into the Panzer Grenadiers, supported by the Tetrarch CS. This is looking to a +2. Crazy stuff. And the thing is, if Maximillion wants to try and find ground back through this town, I feel it is going to be very difficult, because Funagor will still have elite infantry available at this point, since he hasn't invested into it too much. Like, generally, what I do see from the 6th Airborne players is that they do invest into all of their elite infantry and have almost used it all by the end of phase A, and that just basically comes down to not trading efficiently. If you can trade efficiently and avoid bringing in too many of your elite infantry early on, then you can space them out for the majority of the game, and it leaves you in a much better position to work with those elite infantry into the late game. That's what Funagor has managed to do and is going to do moving later into the game, and Tetrarch has been brought into the top side of the airfield. That's going to be trying to kill off this half track, and I think these Tetrarchs have also been used pretty well by Funagor so far. I like the attempt to double team the boy to Cromwell. I think it was just unlucky that one of the Tetrarch Little Johns got killed, but otherwise has been using these Tetrarchs well to clean up half tracks and other lighter vehicles. Shame he didn't find the kill onto the Panzer II, because I think that has been reloaded since by the Opel Blitz munition here. But, wow. If an infantry squad can control these hangars for Funagor, then he's going to hold on to this territory for a very long time. And so far, he's making a lot of ground. 61% territory lead here for the 6th Airborne. Really, really well played by Funagor so far. I think Maximillion's been doing okay. Maybe could have kept the boy to Cromwell at a further range on the airfield, but did make a good play through the airfield with his boy to Cromwell in general, so I can't complain. Airborne Paras, though, do find a surrender onto the Panzer Grenadiers as the Befehl Panzer II is falling back. If the command is pinned, then any other units that are pinned nearby can be surrendered, and that's exactly what Funagor just took advantage of. The Airborne Paras now going to be moving in towards this road, and while they absolutely annihilate one Panzer Grenadier, can they take out the second? They are going to get aggressive towards these Panzer Grens, and since they are no longer in a building, they're going to get wiped out. Airborne Paras also utilise their Gammon Bomb to take out the 259, and look at this, even more value trades here for Funagor onto Maximillion. On this bottom side, the Cromwell 5 has gone down. That really should have been hidden behind a hangar and not killed by the Jagdpanzer 4. But this Jagdpanzer, really nice choice from Maximillion. It's a very difficult unit to kill for Funagor, because even a Challenger in Phase C will struggle to penetrate a Jagdpanzer at max range, whilst the Jagdpanzer will not struggle to penetrate a Challenger due to their lower armour. But as long as this +2 remains, Funagor will be happy racking up these points, and so far can be very impressed with his gameplay. Now I just want to see him get defensive in this town. He can't really move to the edge of the town because he will just be picked apart. The best bet is to let Maximillion waste his infantry availability trying to push back in, and then he will have none to support his tanks in the late game, which can be something you can take advantage of with things like AT guns. So this 2-star 6-pounder here may be able to clean up a Jagdpanzer at close range if it finds the ambush. The 3-inch mortar, that has been resupplied, but we do see 381mm off-map coming on to the field. That is going to be very scary for the pioneers of Maximillion. Nice job though by the 257 to engage the Ox and Bucks, though nearly killed those off. Airborne Paras smashing the pioneers. And that was only with the Bren gun and the Lee Enfield. But at the same time, Pioneers only have a similar HE at that range anyway. But it looks like a bombing train is going to be used to try and take out the Jagdpanzer. Mosquito was the bomber of choice, trying to break through the AA of the Wirbelwind. The Semi-109 though, going to find another kill. Possibly, but no. Typhoon AT actually gets out alive. And it looks like the Tempest may do as well, due to it being just too fast. Yep, it manages to get out. And well, for an Me-109 G6R6, failing to find those 2 kills is pretty bad, and wonderfully timed Tempest there from Funagor finishes the job. There you go. Wow, I'm just genuinely very impressed by the 6th Airborne gameplay, but it does sort of make you realise that you do have to play this well to make the 6th Airborne effective. Come on, Tetrarch. Gonna get blown up by the HE grenade of the Pioneers. Airborne Paras take out the half-track in response. As long as they can micro themselves out of the way of the Pioneers' grenades, then they're actually fine. And that's something that you saw Funagor do just there. He jumped forwards. He had the Pioneers throw the grenades, and then he jumped back, so he wasn't in range anymore. Another really good play. Now the 381mm off-map going to get involved, and that has the potential to destroy these Pioneers and Panzergrens. Panzerwerfer forcing back these Airborne Paras. Didn't do too much damage though. Airborne Para is going to get out of there nice and easy. Now the fact that there was a lot of bombers on this bottom side, they didn't actually end up doing too much. The Jagdpanzer still controlling this airfield, and accompanied by this infantry can make some ground. But that off-map has come down. It deleted one of the Panzer Grenadiers, or Pioneers, sorry. And now the off-map's going to be looking for the shot onto the Panzerwerfer and the 257. Oh, this could be an absolutely nasty strike. It's lining up very nicely to take up both, or take out both of these artillery pieces, and if it does do so, then it removes a lot of the pressure the Maximillion would have otherwise had towards the town. Got to keep an eye on that. 15 seconds till the strike. Jagdpanzer moving up here. Looking for a shot onto the bottom side as the Ochsenbucks move up to intercept the Panzer Grenadiers. Here comes the artillery. If it hits the Opel Blitz, that Panzerwerfer is so damn dead. Well, the Opel Blitz did go down, so did the mortar half-track. The Panzerwerfer somehow getting away with that one. Incredible stuff. Nice off-map strike there, really hit the mark. Solid amount of damage dealt, and will prevent the Panzerwerfer from fully reloading, and will force Maximillion to invest in another 50 points of supply if he wants to rely on that. Nice job by Funagor to get rid of these Panzergrens on the bottom side, because it basically means that Maximillion's salient is going to be significantly smaller. Now, without the recon spotting the 6-pounder, the 6-pounder does have ample opportunity to find a side shot here onto the Jagdpanzer. Can Funagor make it happen? He's actually aiming at the Wirbelwind. He's going to end up bombing the Jagdpanzer instead, and he finds the kill with the second shot. Wow. Wirbelwind taken out first was a nice idea, especially considering he planned to use the bombers, but the fact that the second shot from the 6-pounder still side shot the Jagdpanzer in time is absolutely brutal, and a very, very nice couple of kills there. Removes that salient entirely from Maximillion, and now Maximillion's falling into the off-map trap again. He's moving forwards with these Panzer Grenadiers, the Pioneers, the Flampanzer, this half-track. He's even got his Panzergrenführer in there, and they're all going to get hit by this off-map. I can't believe how well Funagor has played this matchup. He hasn't found himself a ton of territory because it's very hard to do as the 6th Airborne, but my lord, has he like just traded so damn well in this game. It's been a pleasure to watch. 81mm mortar. Looks like Maximillion's had enough of that. Last shot actually ends up killing the Jeep supply, but the mortar's still good to go. Incredible off-map strikes. Really nice micro of the Typhoon AT. Really well done to deal with the tanks as well. The Boita Firefly and Jagdpanzer. It's just so well done. Just so well done. 6-pounder. Nice shots there onto those tanks. I did kind of expect a 6-pounder to be able to find that ambush if the infantry was taken care of. And it just seems as though the spear through weren't far enough ahead of the tanks to really make the difference. But now 17-pounder on the bottom side is going to take out the 222. Typhoon AT tried to take out the mobile wagon, but was not successful. This Flampanzer though may still make it ground against the infantry down here. It depends if Funagor can use the Piat to take that out if it gets close, but destroying the Panzergrenadier on the airfield gets rid of that. And now Maximillion pushing back in on the top side with the Panzer IV. He's got a Flampanzer here, but the airborne paras, they have the Gammon bomb. They're going to hit the mark. 3-star veterancy. Don't hit all that, or don't miss all that often. And managing to take out the Flampanzer there is going to remove that from Maximillion's arsenal. Panzer IV does take out the Cromwell 5. Nice engagement. But I feel at this point Maximillion's getting very low on infantry availability, whilst Funagor still has an abundance of elite infantry left to defend the town. Due to him trading so well, it's been just fascinating to watch. Typhoon AT coming in for the shots onto the Panzer IV will then follow the ME-109 GTBR-21. I think Maximillion here was trying to fly towards his AA to save his ME-109, but wasn't quite quick enough due to the Tempest being able to get on his tail. And the Typhoon AT was successful in killing the Panzer IV, so fantastic job. Now the Challenger is coming in, and that will be able to engage the AA of Maximillion. But after 29 minutes and 15 seconds, Maximillion is going to surrender a 12th SS game to a 6th Airborne. Incredibly well played by Funagor. What a awesome game to watch. Absolutely incredible. He's actually introduced me to an idea that I hadn't really thought about before, which was double striking with the Typhoon ATs. Like, I've obviously used the HS-129s by holding their fire by clicking off the weapon manually before, but I've never thought of doing it with the Typhoon AT, and that Typhoon AT finding the double strike and therefore defeating the Boita Firefly. That is mind-blowing. Very, very awesome to watch. So if we jump over to the kills, infantry paying itself off is quite common. The Panzer Grenadiers going down to the airborne paras and Oxen Bucks is always good trades. This Typhoon bomber took out the Wirbelwind and a Boita Firefly with its bombs. Cromwell 5 did okay to push across the airfield, but didn't do too much in the end. Just was kind of there as a assisting unit for the infantry either side in the hangars. This Tetrarch Little John though eventually found the shot onto the Boita Cromwell. Tempest really well microed to take down the ME-109s. Airborne paras trading 2 for 1 plus half tracks. This 6-pounder that was on the top side, I assume, took out the Panzer IV-H and the Befehl Panzer II-C. Then the off-map came in. Killing this mortar was very important, and managing to do so was Very nice to watch. 6-pounder, cleaned up the Wirbelwind and Jagdpanzer, and then the Typhoon AT coming in at the end and killing off the Panzer IV. And it seemed as though every time Maximillion brought in a unit of any significance, Funagor found a way to get rid of it. And just in very, very impressive game. This boy to Cromwell did do well early on. It took care of the pack very well. And removing that meant that Maximillion did have all the pressure he needed in Phase A. Almost got double teamed by the Little Johns, but managed to take one out, so that was good as well. But after that, I think there was potential for the Cromwell to do a little bit better, but got left out to dry because it wasn't supported by a boy to Firefly sooner. And I think if it was, then we may have seen a little bit of a different game. But after that, not many of the units actually trading very well. The Jagdpanzer took out one Cromwell 5 that wasn't hidden properly by Funagor on the bottom side. That was one mistake that Funagor did make. His Me-1 and IG-6 R6 did take out the Typhoon with the rockets. And it looks like the Befehl Panzer IV took out a Cromwell 5 as well. But yeah. Oh, just an incredible game. I found that awesome to watch, and hopefully you guys did as well. That gives one game to Funagor in this best of 2. And we'll have to see if Maximillion can bring a game back to draw the series. But that's all for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.